right, Brad and Bree, Onslow Bay Boatworks. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. I read a lot about your history and how you got into building boats, but I never sat down and talked to you about it.
Well, so it started out. So my dad, he was an airline pilot for United Airlines. He always had boats. I grew up. So if anybody's familiar with Old Point Golf Course Country Club, my parents built the first house down there.
Okay.
So they built that the year I was born, 71. And so we lived right on the water, had boats growing up. And then he wanted like a particular express style boat, and nobody really had what he wanted. So he decided to build boats against my mother's wishes. So against my mother's wishes, he started a boat company, but he was still flying a lot then too. So he was out of town. He built a 35-foot express boat. It's called Carolina Coast Marine. And then he came back and built like a 26-foot center console. And then the 90s came. Bush did like a luxury tax, 10% tax on anything over, at that time, $200,000, I believe. That was considered luxury back then. And
that's wild.
And that really crushed the boating industry. So he ended up closing that down. I was just getting out of college about then. That was 93. I got out of college, and I started building spas and hot tubs. Or spas I started out with first.
Really?
Yeah, so we bought a vacuum form machine, and I'd learned from another guy, and we were doing that, and eventually started doing bathtubs. Had a good sized contract with this company up in Wilson, and then we started our own line of bathtubs, acrylic bathtubs, and so yeah, I did that for a while, and then I had a chance to start building boats again, and I did. So I started off with a 20-footer. I built probably 15 of those, maybe.
With who?
Myself.
Okay, so that's the kickoff of Onslow Bay.
That was the start of Onslow Bay. That was in 2005.
I tried to buy those molds back the other day. Well, not the other day.
I
saw them up for sale on Facebook, and I was like, "Oh, I should surprise Brad." And he was like, I mentioned something to him. He was like, "Do not buy those molds again. I'm not building that boat."
I still see them.
Unless you're set up like some of these companies, like I guess I can name companies.
Yeah,
like these higher production companies, like Key West, Sea Hunt, guys that are set up to build that way, Tidewaters, unless you're set up to do production and do a lot of it, you can't compete with those guys because you have to charge so much more. You have to get into the bigger boats to have better margins to be able to make it work if you're going to build them on a smaller scale.
So bigger boats, better margins.
Yes.
Would not think that. Mm-hmm. But no, let's go back though. So you started out with these smaller boats, and you were building boats though before the hot tubs and everything with your dad?
I had, yeah. So
okay.
I started building boats when I was 12 or 13. Man, I remember us making the plugs for his first 35. And then there's actually a picture in my office of me and him on that boat.
That's cool.
Finished it. So we built the plug. It was a wooden plug. We put PVC core on it. I remember they drilled holes in it. We actually went on there and sewed the core onto this wooden plug. Then we fiberglassed it, finished it, and made the whole mold. And then we ended up making the liner molds and the cap molds. And back then, everything was done that way. Like, I've often said, if my father could see how we do boats now, with the computers and the, Rhino 3D, and, you can pretty much look at what you got before you ever even make it. And then it gets cut on the router. He would just be blown away by it. Actually, he did. So when we cut our 27, he did see part of that, but if he just saw, things have advanced so much since then.
Insane.
But it's just crazy the way that it's moved forward.
Are any of your dad's boats still around to this day?
Yeah, I see some every once in a while.
That's cool.
People will pop them up on Facebook.
Yeah.
We need to see a picture of this boat and include it in this episode because people would love to see that.
Yeah, there's a picture of it she had made for me that's up on the wall.
Yeah, we'll get that picture.
Yeah.
So then, okay, so let's go back to 2005, and you're building little smaller boats. When did the first 27 come out? Because everybody I talk to says that's one of your bread and butter boat.
It is. So at the same time that I was building those 20-footers, and even before that, I started fishing king mackerel tournaments with my friend Randall Edens, who's got one of our 41s. He and I grew up together. We played Little League together, went to high school together, graduated together. So we've known each other our whole lives. And so I started fishing with him, king mackerel fishing, got introduced to that. And he was, he had started a little bit before I did. And so then he taught me how to do it. And, you go out there and you'd fish on different boats. And he had a bunch of different boats. or a few different boats, and you saw things you liked and saw things you didn't like. And for me, it's more about what I don't like. So I kind of got this list of all the things that I didn't like, and then tried to make a boat from there, things that I would change about, other boats.
It's a smart way to look at it.
And then I kind of, I think, I don't know if it was Contender that first did it, but, they had a one level deck, and I thought that was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. Now boats are pretty much one level deck.
Yeah.
But, I thought that was an amazing, I think Joe Niebuhr, Contender, he was kind of a pioneer in a lot of that stuff and that Florida style boat. And there's things I liked about it, things I didn't like about it. And just because of where I fish and where I live. And, but I did like that one level deck. And I think most people have gone to that. It just makes it so easy to fish. You can you have 360-degree fishability. You don't have to worry about stepping up. You don't have to worry about coming off the forward step and hitting your head on the T-top.
Fishing, you're moving around a lot.
Yeah. And I think he really did a great job on that. And, so that was kind of my basis. After that, it was just, I just kind of incorporated my own stuff. I kind of came up with my own shear line. I sit down and sketch stuff out and kind of came up with my own.
I found when we switched
I
buildings.
want to see these. We got to get pictures of this. Too.
Yeah, I got all my sketches that I did, and I would just try different things and different looks. And I mean, hell, when I made our logo, I sat down, I typed out Onslow Bay. And so Onslow Bay.
Let's go back to,
Yeah, so let me hit that real quick, where the name comes from. So a lot of people think, oh, it's a bay boat. Well, no, it's not a bay boat. So from Cape Lookout all the way down to Frying Pan, that whole area in there is Onslow Bay. So that goes from Shackleford Banks, all the way down to Southport.
Yeah, it says it on the charts.
That's right. Yeah. And so that's where I grew up fishing, grew up boating. So I wanted to name it after where I was from and where the boats, where I designed them to run and fish. And it gets rough out there.
Damn right it
as
does.
we all know.
Yeah.
So that's where the name came from. And so one day I sat down and I was like, okay, well, I know what I want to name it. And I took Onslow Bay and I typed it up. And back then I had it was a Gateway computer, the one with the cows on it.
And you're doing all this on that computer.
I'm doing it on one of your earlier versions of Microsoft Word. And so I highlighted it and I kept changing the font to get it what I wanted.
Everyone always asks what font it is. I'm like, something Brad just made up.
So then I got the font. I don't even remember what it is. And then I had, actually the guy who did all my logo work for me, he's done a lot of our stuff, Greg Ford. He took the logo and we slanted it and stretched it and manipulated it and then put the name of the model underneath it. That guy's phenomenal with logos. And so he did all that for me. And then, we've tweaked it from here and there, but that's pretty much where it came from.
It stands out when I see stickers on cars. I don't know, before I even knew who you guys were or what Onslow Bay boats are. Yeah. That's another thing. I mean, a lot of people know the name, and you guys really don't build that many boats compared to a lot of other builders, but you got such a damn good reputation. And it's really gone from here to here. I mean, fast,
a lot of people, a lot of companies, I think, not a lot, but some companies, they look at it as a race. Okay, well, how many boats can I build? They measure their success by how many boats can I build and how many models can I get out? And, they're scrambling and trying to do that. And I mean, I don't like going to another model until I've, got the one that I've been building where I want it.
Yeah.
So I think it's better I'm looking at quality over quantity.
Yep. And Bree, you mentioned that too. I mean, you guys don't even have any dealers, like your factory directs. And Bree, well, how did you get involved in this? Were you always into boats?
No, I actually don't even like boats still.
Just a lucky girl.
Very lucky girl. So I ran a fishing tournament, and I'm sure you're going to chime in on all of this, but let me tell the story first.
She came to me begging for money.
Okay. No. But so I'm a therapist. So I do developmental therapy for young kids. I have a nonprofit that helps special needs kids, and we do a fishing tournament. We've done it on year 15.
That's awesome. You guys crushed it this year too. It
was it was fun. It's a smaller event. We do it for the smaller boats, the bigger boats, just everybody. So the money from it goes to helps the families we support.
Yep.
And so it's called Share. That's the nonprofit. But so we were looking for a boat manufacturer before I knew Brad. And one of my neighbors who helped do the tournament with us had said, well, yeah, I'll get Brad to sponsor, and never could get him to sponsor. And so I was like, okay, well, Bradley, let me finish the story. But so finally I was like, well, let me just give him a call. And so I had text. He still sends me the text to this day. Hi, like on our anniversary of the time we met. Hi, this is Bree. And what did I say? I'd like to sit down and meet you for a sponsorship. So we met right at Jebby's the bartender's still the same bartender as when we met, Chris, and he
awesome.
still likes to talk about, these are the chairs you guys sat in, and we have a picture. It's very nostalgic. But so that's how I met him, and he likes to say, "I'm just waiting for you to say it's the most expensive sponsorship I've ever had."
I don't have to. You just did.
Best sponsorship.
Yeah, so I mean that's how it started. I didn't fish
What year
that
was
tournament.
That was in 13.
Okay.
14. That was in 14.
So you've been building boats a little bit. I mean, you guys got your ball rolling before then.
Yeah.
So you got well involved and you met Brad.
Yeah.
You guys fell in love and
There you go.
yeah.
End of story. So I didn't always work here. I just started helping when we moved into this
We went
facility.
into the shop.
So what's your role here?
Mama Bree, pretty much the mama of everybody. I do all the ordering. I talk to customers. I sell more boats than Brad.
Dude, that was cool.
Anything from
And
cleaning.
I answer all her technical questions and do all the demo rides because she can't.
Bree kicks ass. I will say this.
She does. She does a great job.
Yeah.
I'm really the
people know that.
organizer and I keep us from being constantly in chaos,
Well-
just organizing and managing.
You guys got a good reputation. Everybody I know that owns an Onslow Bay feels right at home. You guys build like a good community with Onslow. I mean, there's group pages. I don't know. Everybody I talk to says, yeah, I'm not part of the Onslow Bay family. They keep in touch.
Right.
You guys are really good customer service. Brad, your policy, your warranty policy with some of your things are great too. I mean, if anything happens,
Well, I mean,
to an extent.
a lot of times, even when some things have been out of warranty, I mean, here's one of the issues we run into lately, and a lot of this started back during COVID. We can build the best boat in the world, but and not knocking any of my vendors or suppliers, but sometimes they might hit a bad run on stuff, and you don't know about it till you get out there in the field.
That's right.
And sometimes we hit runs like that. It takes up a lot of our time, and we always try to hope that the customer will separate a vendor's product from our product, but we still want to fix it for the customer no matter what, just because. So a lot of times we end up warranting our supplier's products.
Not even your problem.
Yeah, just because. I mean, certain situations where it's not right for the customer to have to deal with this.
Well, you also got to be careful. You told me this before too. You can't control what happens once this boat leaves its factory.
No, that's true, and a lot of times that's sort of a muddy, some muddy waters right there where you don't know what happened to it when it left. I mean, I had a situation one time. It was a boat that was here, and I had pictures of it sitting on this showroom where we're sitting right now. And the boat went pretty far away, and the radar fell off of it. I was like, well, that's funny. Ripped out of the top, fell in the water, and the guy was wanting something done about it, which I don't blame him.
Yeah.
So when
He was the second or third owner.
yeah, he's like a third owner, and he added an upper station to it and all that stuff. And I was like, okay. So I saw the picture of the boat with the radar on it, and then I got my pictures from when I took it from upstairs of where the radar was. So when they put the upper station on, they had to relocate the radar. Well, we have a certain pad glass to the top that's reinforcement to glass the radar to, so it will hold.
Yeah.
Well, they moved it. Whoever did the work for the guy, it wasn't his fault.
No.
They moved it outside of where that reinforcement was. I'm like, man, I'm sorry, but
It's something you can control.
there's nothing I can do.
Yeah.
I definitely can't warranty things like that. But
Because you do everything for a reason.
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and the more used Onslow Bays that are on the market and the more owners they have, the more modifications that are done to the boat.
If people started messing with stuff. Yeah.
But I mean, if Brad sees a picture, he can tell if he did it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that goes a long way. I mean,
yeah.
I was looking back at some pictures. I've never visited your old shop.
That was a bit little.
Tell me about that, man. How did you guys pump out? How many boats were you pumping out of there a year?
We're doing 20 to 25 out of there a year.
And
It was
it's
tough. Well, when we were getting to that point, we had 2 other locations in Wilmington. So when we started doing the
I did not know
41, it
that.
was so
Okay.
big that we had to have other locations. So we had 3 Well, most of that was my property, but the back left I rented from somebody else, and then I rented 2 places in town.
But you did that many smaller boats. So 27 and
The
33.
smaller boats, you
Yeah.
could fire a lot of the 27s and 33s. Like when guys have those come through, they're like, "Oh my God, these are so easy to make." Compared when you get in 37s and 41s, there's just so many more things to go on to them.
yeah.
So, but yeah, so we were doing probably 18 to 20 boats a year out of there, like the 30, it was the 33s and then the
What was the square
27s.
footage you had in there?
With what I was renting up there, that was for my neighbor, it was 11,000 square feet. We
Yeah.
have 50 here, but it's just also the roof size, and it was so hot there, and I mean,
It's brutal.
it was brutal. but that was where my dad built boats. So
Oh,
that
okay,
was
that's cool.
why I had that place. So he built that back in '84, and that's where he built all his boats. But they were building one boat a year,
Yeah.
1, 2 boats a year when they were doing the 35. So
When did you really start getting busy? When you realized, like, okay, I can't keep up with this anymore here, and what made you
Well,
guys go here?
so I s- so I started building the 27 back in '07.
Okay.
And then we had everything started to take off really good. People loved the boat. It was
Yeah.
for the SK tournaments and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden when the crash hit,
Oh, wait.
08, 09, everything came to a screeching halt. I mean, I didn't even think I was going to make it through it. I really didn't. Nobody. I mean, everybody was hurting. So, and then we recovered from that, and things took off. And of course, when COVID hit, I mean, that went the opposite way what everybody thought it was going to go. Everybody got very busy. So when we were, once we started doing the bigger boats, we knew we had to move somewhere else.
Yeah.
So that's when we found this place up here and came up with the plans for this. And I knew how I wanted the things laid out for everything to pretty much start in the back and work its way to the front. So that was just it was kind of a natural progression of how it needed to be laid out and how it ended up being laid
This
out.
place is beautiful. I mean, so you're not necessarily building that many more boats a year here, but you are building bigger boats.
Right.
Yeah. So when you add these bigger boats in, I mean, it takes you almost twice as long to build that 41 as it does a 27 or 33. There's just so much more that goes into it.
Why did you start with the 41? Just curious, and not like, didn't you start building the 41 before you built the 37?
Yeah. So we did the 41, then the 37. So when we went to Miami, we started doing that show. And we saw so many bigger boats down there with quad engines. I'm like, yeah, I mean, we got to
Keep up with it.
head in that direction. That's what we did. And then I had a gap between the 33 and the 41. So
Big gap.
yeah. So then I was like, and this for king mackerel fishing, this is a perfect size boat. The 37 is. So then we came back and filled that gap. So I kind of learned a lot of things. This is like a small 41. So this one has a lot of stuff in it too. So then I came back and filled that gap.
What out of all the boats you built, what's your favorite, and what is ultimately the best boat?
I like different things about different ones.
Yeah.
The 27 is great. Like if we were just going to have a boat for the family stuff, we'd do a 20, and go fishing sometimes and catch bait. And I mean, you can easily fish tournaments in them. I mean, the 27 is great. And we'd probably do it with forward seating just because, and that boat we probably entertain a little bit more than what we fish. The 33 was a great all around boat where if you don't want that much to haul down the road, like a 37 or 41, you can get that 33 and it handles the ocean well. It's got a lot of life space.
And that's what I have. And one thing, when I first got, I was a little intimidated by trailing it around, but it's actually really easy.
It's not that hard.
No, it's easy.
That one and the 27, you'll forget it's back there. I mean, once you get one of these behind you, you know it's there.
Different ball game, yeah.
Yeah, it just holds so much more fuel.
Everybody wants this boat right now. You guys have been crushing it with that boat.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of took everything I mean, even though I built the boats that I built, there's still things I don't like about them that I might come back and change. And that's just me being.
That's a good thing,
very
though. Like,
picky
let's
and particular.
hear it, though. Like, what have you changed over the years that you think off the top of your head that are totally different, that makes your boat better?
Well, so the resin fusion was a big leap forward. I think that, I mean, just the materials that we're using, materials have become available. The cloths that or the fiberglass that we have to use, the resins that we have to use are so much more advanced than what they used to be.
You told me that you kind of take a bite from your fuel tank installations. I know it's expensive, but there's a reason why you do that.
Yes. So the idea behind the fuel tank is to keep it sealed off so you don't get any salt water down it. And I've looked at some of the other manufacturers' boats, and there's been some of them out there that have fuel tank problems, and they had to take them out and replace them and all this stuff. And so I think one of the things that we do, and so the very first fuel tank I ever put in the boat, we did it was called a coal tar coating. It's like a black epoxy that goes on the bare aluminum. So if any water does get on, it's got to go through that coating before it eats into the aluminum. So we do that. We foam them in place. I use a higher density foam. I foam the tanks in place. And then we fiberglass them over top. And then we also paint them with gel coat just to seal everything up. And I mean, to this day, I've never had to take a tank out.
That's nuts.
It's always crazy when I walk someone through the factory and give them a tour back there. Everyone always comments that underneath the cap looks just as good as the outside of the boat.
It's such an important part of boat building. I mean, I'm not a boat builder, but I've seen so many boats with issues, and when that fuel tank goes, that sucks. You know,
Oh, it's bad. And
you know, you said it too. Water's going to find a way.
water always finds a way. And it's funny because there was this one manufacturer and they had to replace a bunch of fuel tanks. And I went and looked at the ones they had replaced, and they had like a little access where the fuel hoses come down, the fuel chase is. They had like a little starboard access. And I opened up and I looked in it, and I could look down and see the bare aluminum tank. Bare aluminum, no coating on it. And the foam that was around it that they just sawed off, didn't coat the foam or anything. And that says closed cell foam. It's not closed cell foam. It's going to hold water.
What do you coat the foam with?
We fiberglass.
Okay.
So we have to use that's the only place we put polyester resin in our boat, because vinyl ester resin will eat that foam. It'll turn it to mush. So we have to use polyester resin to glass the tops of our tanks. And that's the only place we use polyester in the entire boat. The rest of it's all vinyl ester. And so we fiberglass over. Still, even when you fiberglass something, you can still, because if you put fiberglass on foam, the foam might be trying to pull some of the resin out of it. You still might end up with pinholes and stuff like that in it. So then I had my guys, God, back about 10 years ago, I said, like, let's coat it with gel coat also to make sure we have it sealed so no water can get in. No water can get in. So that's what we did. We also did that to our flotation foam. So there's not a lot of boats our size, unless they're boats like, like the Everglades and Edgewaters, the boats that are actually foam filled, and the like the whalers, but they don't have, to my knowledge. So I don't want anybody email me like, no, we do have a stringer system, but most of those boats don't have like a traditional stringer system like we do. So our boat will support itself with the stringer grid that we have, and you don't need anything else. Well, a lot of those boats, in place of the stringer grid, they use that foam as structural. I didn't ever think foam should be structural, so I use it in addition to. So basically, I have my stringer grid, which is plenty to support the boat. And then I put foam in there, and then I glass it over. The foam's very strong, makes the boat quieter, but also gives you the buoyancy that you need. So between all the core we put in the boat, all that foam, the boats won't sink.
Yeah. And that's a huge safety factor. You guys push safety, Bree. I know you've had thrown out ideas, but
I'm crazy on the safety.
No,
but I also don't love boating that much.
But no, it's so super important, and a lot of people are to this day are starting to pick it up and realize, okay, what more can we do? A lot of boat manufacturers.
What's peace of mind?
Yeah.
I mean, if any, and I've been out there fishing before, and I've seen boats sunk into a little bit of the bow sticking up and all their stuff floating in the water. It's, and I decided early on, I think we covered this in one of the videos we did. We were about there looking at the fuel tanks. I was like, I got to sleep at night. And when it's November, December, and we know that guys that have our boats are going out fishing, if they don't have survival suits or life rafts, which a lot of them don't, let's say they get flipped over going across the shoals for some reason. At least if that boat flips over, they have something they can get on. It's not going to sink. No matter what happens to them, the boat's not going to sink. They're going to have something they can get on to get them out of the weather until they can have somebody come rescue them.
Have you guys always had the boats like that? Or?
Always been foam filled.
Wow.
Yep, always will be.
And there's been a couple accidents. I don't want to hear too many about Gordy's because I want to talk to him about that one. But I mean, most of maybe there's more that I haven't heard about. But have you had other accidents where that boat's saved a life?
That's the only one I've really heard of.
But yeah, I mean, you never know what you're going to hit out there. I got a picture the other day. There was some big pipe floating around out there, And then we leave at 4 a.m. We got to go 60+ miles.
I mean, I've heard of other small, especially people hitting stuff in the river, but I've never heard of one as bad as his.
Yeah.
Now we were discussing that one that just lost the steering, ran up on the rocks up there.
Yeah.
Is it rocks or is it sand? I can't tell.
It's like a seawall there. I heard that. Yeah. I've never been there, but that inlet, Boynton Inlet, looks horrible.
Yeah.
But
I've heard it's pretty rough.
I'm curious to see how that looks. Though. It looks like a new 33.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how new it is.
It looks like my boat. Everybody's commenting on me like, we'll qualify captain up on the rocks. But
yeah,
I was like, no, that ain't me. Safety's huge. Is there any ideas in the future that you guys would think maybe to put on your boats? Just something extra, peace of mind. Like, I mean, you said it perfectly. You want to know just when you sell this boat, like, hey, I'm not going to be held accountable. There's a lot of boat builders right now that are in lawsuits because of certain situations.
Well, and you and I have talked about an EPIRB. Definitely having something like that. I've talked to Brad about a life raft. I would love to do that, but they're just sometimes so bulky. So trying to find a smaller one.
One thing we did add was a high water alarm. Because there's so much stuff going on back there behind you. A lot of people were like, I didn't know anything was wrong until I sat down. The boat was wilding in the water. Because you can build, like I say, you can build the best. I've seen people who've had our boats, and you open up the bilge hatch, and they thrown their castnets down there on top of all the plumbing, to get them out of the way at the storm. I'm like, come on, guys, you can't do this. So, something like that happens and knocks the hose off. I mean, it's nothing I can do about that. I mean, which we triple clamp everything. We put as many clamps as we can. So if it does knock a hose off, at least you got a heads up because that high water alarm is going to start
So
screaming.
that alarm goes off.
That's right.
You have such a good reputation for your live wells too.
Yes.
What did you do in particular? What makes those perfect? You guys posted a video the other day.
Did tell you
The
I
bait
could
was
kill you.
alive for like
Yeah, I could tell you, but I'd have to kill you.
I knew you were going to say
Just
that.
quick summary, because everybody loves your live wells, and a lot for the people that listen, they want to know what makes them special.
Our live wells have been evolving. Whenever I fish a lot in the tournaments, and when I'm out there, I'm not only out there fishing, I'm out there learning about my product, about what I can change about it. There's things I don't like about it that I'm going to, we're coming out with some new stuff to, and improve some certain aspects that I don't like. But as far as the live wells go, at first it was just a shape, but also, and then I'll have some manufacturers, they'll come and, they'll kind of knock off our live wells and take our shape. And they're like, oh, we got the shape now. We're about perfect live wells. No, you don't, because you didn't pay attention to your flow. You didn't pay attention to your placement. You didn't pay attention. I mean, there's so many things
You
that go
almost
into
gotta be
it.
like a marine biologist in some way,
Well, no, it's just a lot of it's just common sense. I mean, you got to think like a fish. I mean,
yeah.
a lot of these, I see some of these live wells, they'll have, 80, 90 gallon live wells, and they got one big old jet shooting to the middle of them. The fish aren't there to get a massage. They want to be like it's, real life,
Yeah.
and that's what you gotta do. It's like, say, it's a combination of water coming in, water going out, the pressures, the levels of what you do it. And, and a lot of these guys, they don't get it.
Yeah.
So,
You got a good reputation. I saw that video, and I mean, I don't live bait fish. I dive
Yeah.
a lot, so I don't know too much about it. I can't say anything, but no, the live wells. Yeah, how many do you have on the 37?
there's 3 on there. So there's a 68 in the transom, there's a 73 in the leaning post, and there's a 59 up front in the floor.
And you can customize your boats pretty much there's a lot of things that you can customize to yourself that you'll offer your customers.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the list is huge.
Everything that doesn't change the molds.
Yeah.
So we have a 41 coming up that is really customized. I can't wait to take
I was
pictures
just
of
out
that one.
there.
Yeah.
They said they put a lot of
Yeah.
money
Notice
in
that you got a different ladder. It's got to have different stuff on the interior. I mean, there's a lot of stuff we can do within a
I was
certain.
gonna say, at what
percent.
point where you guys are like, all right, pump the brakes, we can't do that.
If you get Brad in a good mood, he'll say yes more, but you have to ask him at the right time.
We're gonna do a custom.
We need to
steer
start
coach.
pumping the brakes on some of the stuff. I mean,
Really?
that 41 wasn't that bad, but there's been some other ones that have.
Yeah. Like what? Just
Just special fiberglass stuff, special electrical stuff. I mean,
Well, and people add it at the wrong times. So that's what gets us. If we don't know up front for some of those big changes, it really stops our production. Not stops, but
I've had people
holds
adding
up.
stuff as the boat's coming down the line, and you hate to tell them no. I mean, it's a big purchase for them, but at some point, stuff's going to get forgotten, stuff's going to get messed up. And some of the stuff, I mean, like we had one that just came through and changed the lighting system. Well, we already had lights installed, so we had to tear those up to get them out. And
you
Yeah,
just
you don't know
waste
what-
a
when you
lot of
start
money.
tearing stuff
Yeah.
it wastes a lot of money.
I don't like to
gonna,
waste
It's going
money.
to come back on them.
yeah.
And you hate to do that, but you can't go in the hole on something when they change their mind halfway.
Yeah. It's
And
good.
also, I mean, everybody gets confused on the floor. Then the boat gets to the end and like, okay, well, I got 3 different build sheets here. Okay, which one was this? And we date them all, but a lot of times things get confused. I mean, in an ideal world, somebody would have everything picked out on the boat when it's going into the mold, and then, nothing would change and our lives would be so much simpler.
Except social media shows all. Someone will get on social media and, oh, I like that option. Oh, and I get it.
Well, the new products come out
Right.
like, midway through the build.
Yeah.
I mean, and you want to get them what they want. I mean, you really do.
Yeah.
But
It's a lot of money. So I know I'd
yeah,
want-
and I want what I want.
Yeah.
So you try to accommodate as much as you can, but at some point you got to stop or the boat will never leave.
You guys got a hell of a team too.
we
I
do.
mean-
We have a very good team.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
And when I go back there, they're all relatively they're happy, but there's a lot of young guys back there.
It is.
Yeah.
Where do you find them? Do you train most of them, or
You got to
it's
you got to
hard?
call through them.
Yeah. Your kids are that back there.
They're all back there. So we have 3 working right now, and we have a cousin working right now. And we love it when they're all here in the summertime. It's fun. It's funny. You have to keep the group on task though, because when you get too many of the kids back there,
Working with a family is tough. I do it.
it is. But so we don't manage them.
Yeah.
So like they don't get to do, like, someone else tells them what to do. So we try and stay out of that.
I was impressed though how many younger guys back there are doing, like almost managing some of the jobs back there.
So those are from high school. Those are from local high schools. A lot of
Really?
those we worked with Pender County Schools. We did a bunch of like shows and stuff back there. And then just, we've had so many kids in Topsail and Pender that they tell friends. So, you know, they'll put a thing out on Snapchat, you know, Onslow Bay is hiring people. So that, I mean, that has gotten us a bunch.
Yeah.
We do the Cape Fear Boat Building School.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great program.
And you could really see I mean, you have some kids that come through here, they pick up on stuff quick and they got great work ethic. And you got some that not so much. And it's just not the thing for them.
Some want to learn though. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
There's such a history in the Carolinas or North Carolina about boat building. And do you see like, I don't know, I always hear from kids from all over the place that want to learn how to build boats. It's very interesting, but then they realize when they get back there, it's
hard.
it's
Yeah.
brutal.
I mean, you're on your feet, you're bending, you're twisting,
but it's rewarding.
it is. You get to see it. But, and like summer months, I try and spoil the employees because summer is hot. I mean,
It's
it is
tough.
hot
You
out
guys
there.
take care of them.
We try.
Yeah.
So I've been having different ice cream trucks coming on Thursdays, and the 4-day work week really helps. So we
Yeah.
do Monday through Thursday, 10-hour days, and the guys love it.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
We switched that about 2 years ago.
I don't even think it was that long. Yeah. So we
If
got
I was that age, that's what I would want.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. I mean, it's hard on them in the summertime, but in the wintertime, it's not quite as bad on them.
You feel pretty comfortable just, you know, if you had to take a couple of days off for the guys back there. But I mean, when you're building my boat, I saw you back there on your hands and knees.
Oh yeah.
It all depends on what I'm doing. The building these molds really took it out of me.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm trying to step back, but we're doing some revisions on the 27 now. You know, so that's, you know, a ways out, but we're, you know, just kind of updating some molds and stuff like that. But it, you know, doing these molds really took it out of me. And I'm so particular about how I do the molds that I do a lot of it myself. You know, so I was up here 6-7 days a week.
You were awful to live with for quite a
Yeah.
while.
I'm not going to drag it on too much, but how time consuming and what like the process of that? And is it pretty expensive to build all?
It's very expensive.
Yeah.
And it's very time consuming to get it right.
Yeah.
Well, and
Yeah.
so this boat didn't have any revisions though. So this boat, like the 41, he had things he wanted to change after the 41.
Oh, so when you
was
ran
done.
this the first time,
When he did this one, he made it.
I knew where it
perfect.
needed to be. The 41 taught me a lot about this boat. So the 41, I changed, I moved some stuff around, built a new liner for it just because I didn't like it. And that's just the way I am. You know, if I don't like the way something rides, it's going to eat at me until I change it.
Yeah. I have a lot of people that wanted me to ask this question. When do you guys, is anything new in the
already know what you're
future?
gonna
Or is
ask.
people want to see a hybrid? You got any ideas?
Let's see how the economy goes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Boat sales are good though, right? They're pretty.
They are. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm winning. So yes,
They got a competition going on right now.
we do.
so-
And it ends today. And I am 5 boats ahead. So yes,
What's the most popular boat right now though?
37,
37. Yeah.
hands down. Yep.
It's just a good size. It's a big 37. It's 37.8, a 10.6 beam. I mean, it runs like a much bigger boat.
Any advice for a new boat owner that wants to get into fish, like that, you know, they're considering buying a boat like this? What kind of advice would you give them?
My first thing is go tour the factory.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Yeah.
I think that.
So
goes a
that,
long
I mean,
way.
that people will call on the phone and they'll just ask questions. And I'm like, just come see us.
Yeah.
And when you get them here, they don't really know how a boat is made. And then when you see how a boat is made, they're just dumbfounded by the end. So, I mean, that's my advice.
So do you mean to learn how to fish or
No,
how
not
the boat
necessarily
itself?
learn how to fish, but they want to get a boat like this to get. I mean, you need a boat to go fishing, you know. So
Well-
they're looking to invest money on a boat, take their kids fishing, eventually learn more. So, and the question is, well, what boat do I get? There's so many.
Well,
different
when they'll
ones
come
out
in
there.
here, I'll ask them, you know, how do you fish? What do you fish for? You know, I'll try to feel them out. And if I've seen it happen before, and I don't try to upsell people. I want them to get exactly what they want.
Yeah.
But I'll have somebody come here and say, well, you know, I want a 27, but I think I might want a 33. And I always tell them, say, look, I've had people come in here and say the same thing, and they get their 27, they're already ordering a 33. So if you have the space, if you have the means to do it's in your budget where your wife won't kill you, you know, I would go and get the 33 first. That way you're not,
It always, yeah.
right. So I try to feel them out, you know, from that aspect, from their fishing aspect, as far as the options they want on the boat. They do a lot of blue water fishing. They don't do a lot of live bait fishing. You know, they don't need a lean post live well, and just things like that.
Well, your boat is mainly a fishing boat, but I've seen a lot of people enjoying it as a family boat too. So I feel like people get the wrong impression that
Yeah.
it's not just a fishing boat.
Well, I mean, Brad streamlines it, so there's not a lot of things to break on it, which doesn't mean it still has, the creature comforts that I like. I mean, it still has the lounger up front, the toilets underneath, bunch of stuff. I've tried to add a coffee maker, but that hasn't happened
You
yet.
can. You just have to put an inverter on there and plug it in.
Yeah.
All right, one last question. What because we're talking so much about center consoles, what's your favorite sport fish?
Oh,
I had to ask that.
I don't know.
He used to want one. He's changed his mind.
I did, just because. So I know Donnie Cason real well, and he's a great guy, and I think he builds a great boat.
And beautiful boats.
Yeah, he does. Just because I know Donnie, I see how they're built, and
I watched his first center console built.
Yeah,
that was cool.
Yeah, they built a really great boat. I mean, if I ever got one, that's most likely what it would be. I don't know. I mean,
sounds like
now, if Michael Jordan were to watch this and call me up and say, "Hey, Brad, you want to come fish on my new, was it Bayless he's got?"
Yeah.
I would say, yes, I would love to go fishing on your Bayless, but no, I'd say probably, Cason. But
Really?
there's so many good ones that are made. I mean, Spencer makes a gorgeous boat.
There's also a lot of boat
Bayless makes a
builders
gorgeous boat.
that a lot of people don't even know exist. Like you go up to Wanchese and you see all those boats that are built out of there, and they're beautiful.
And I'm probably leaving some out, but there's a lot of good boat builders up there.
You ever go up there and check some of those out up there?
I haven't been up to any of the factories. No, I need to.
Yeah.
I'd like to.
Do you have a good relationship with a lot of boat builders?
I mean, I know some of them.
Yeah.
I know a few of them. I don't know a lot of those guys. We might know each other by reputation and name, but
I always wondered if you guys communicate a lot to say, hey, we're having issues with this. And
I do with Donnie a lot.
And Freeman.
Talk to the Freeman guys a lot. We'll compare notes, and a lot of times, we've had issues with, we've had some recent issues like inverters and some little things on engines going. I call up Scott. Hey, Scott, yep, we're having the same problems.
Really?
So it's good to know that you're not the only one, because we always like to double check and make sure that we're not doing something wrong on our install or what we're doing. So, and they'll do the same. We always try to, verify with each other, what's going on. And, if any of us need parts, and some of the dealers I work with a lot, Marker 17 Marine, he always helps me out. I mean, he's one of the best Mercury mechanics I've ever seen. So he always helps me out. It's fantastic. And like for our Yamaha stuff, we go to Sportsman's Choice.
Okay.
Mickey down there is fantastic to work with. And if I have an issue, if I have something that I'm trying to, figure out or something like that, I can call either one of those guys, and they're always willing to help. And whenever they need something from me, I'm always willing to help them too. I mean,
it's good to be
good to have a network
and transparent about issues too. Like, it's don't hold it accountable to, one particular person.
Yeah.
Work together, make sure we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
And our vendors are great
spending
too.
a lot of money on these boats, and you guys realize that, and you take care of your customers.
We try.
No, you do.
We try.
I love my 33, and I know you won't make it a 37 really bad.
I just know you're going to really like that 30. Well, I know Drew will really like that 37.
37 is sweet. I just got to know where to put it. We'll figure it out, though. Guys, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, let's hopefully do it again.
Yeah, let's do it again.
Awesome. Appreciate it.